What's up guys, Chris Majestic here with Majestex. With Black Friday coming up this week and a lot of deals going on Samsung TVs, I figured I'd do a comparison video of the KU6300 versus the KS8000 so you can determine whether you think it's worth it to spend the extra money on the 8000 series. Now the KS8000 is an HDR 4K TV. The KU6300 is often advertised as an HDR TV, but it doesn't have what's necessary to actually display true HDR. So as I said in my HDR explanation video, you want to look for the Ultra HD Premium badge, and that's what the KS8000 is going to have. You're not going to see that on the KU6300. So when you're seeing TVs that claim to have HDR, just look for that badge. That's going to tell you if it met Ultra HD Premium standards. The KU6300 can accept an HDR signal, but it doesn't have what's necessary to display true HDR. So looking at the design of these two TVs, the first thing you're gonna notice is that the stand is a little bit different on the KU6300. It's kind of got like a V shape and it does protrude out 3 to 4 inches from the back. And the KS8000 has hooked feet that go towards the outside. Now, if you have to sit this on a table where you don't have that much room, you can actually put the legs closer together, so don't worry about that. Now, one major difference is that the KU6300 is substantially thicker than the KS8000. At its thickest point, the KU6300 is 2.4 inches. You compare that to 1.5 inches on the KS8000. And the bezel is also considerably thinner. On the KU6300, you have a 0.63 inch bezel, and on the KS8000, you have a 0.28 inch bezel. All right, so what about these TVs is the same? Well, they both come in a 65 inch. They both are UHD TVs, which means they're 4K TVs. And they're both smart TVs, which means they have like Netflix, Hulu, Amazon Video, and all those things on it. And the motion blur, response time, and input lag is pretty much the same with both of these. So if you're a gamer, you don't really have to worry about that. And as far as sound, neither one of these TVs are gonna blow you away with sound quality. I honestly would recommend a sound bar. And the last thing is that neither one of them support 3D. So if you're a 3D person, these aren't the TVs for you. Now the KS8000 has several benefits over the KU6300. So the KS8000 has what Samsung calls quantum dot technology, and that means the TV actually has nanocrystals that allow the TV to produce whiter whites and more colors. It has local dimming, which means it's gonna have better contrast. It can do up to 1000 nits of brightness, so it's gonna be way brighter. It has a 10-bit panel while the KU6300 has an 8-bit panel, and the KS8000 has a 120 Hz panel while the KU6300 has a 60 Hz panel. And it also comes with a voice remote. Now there are a couple of benefits to getting the KU6300. One thing obviously is that it's way cheaper. The second thing is that it actually comes in a 70 inch, so if you need something bigger than 65, then the KU6300 is gonna be the answer for you. And the third thing is that it supports composite and component inputs. Now in this comparison video, I'm comparing a 65 inch KS8000 to a 50 inch KU6300. All of the settings are matched and the HDR settings are also enabled. Now as far as sharpness goes, these are pretty much gonna both be just as sharp as each other. Now it may be difficult for you to see this considering you may not be watching this on an HD monitor and I'm not shooting this with an HDR camera, but the KS8000 is actually displaying a wider range of colors, so the colors pop more and the colors are also brighter, and the whites are brighter and the blacks are darker. So in some of these scenes it's not that easy to tell, but you can definitely see the difference between these two TVs in person with HDR content. So this is where having a 10-bit panel over an 8-bit panel really pays off. So if you're not able to see this TV in person, hopefully this video helped you out, but I can tell you from firsthand that the picture quality is noticeable. And to be honest with you, I was blown away while I was shooting this video because it's the first time that I've actually seen these guys side by side and my jaw was dropped the entire time. It's just amazing to see the difference between a 10-bit panel and an 8-bit panel. I had to check the settings about 10 different times because I couldn't believe how much better it looked. So if you're on the fence, personally, I think the KS8000 is worth the extra money over the KU6300. Now what I have behind me is the KU6300. I use that as my computer monitor. If you're not using it in a situation where you need a really bright panel or you want HDR, it's gonna work just fine. It's a great TV either way. All right guys, well that's it for this video. If you liked it, please make sure you mash that like button for me. Don't forget to subscribe and I'll see you guys in the next video.